All right, my name's Michelle Salmons. I work at Free State High School. I teach different art classes, graphic design, drawing, and photography. So I've been having some good successes giving out the Ci3T tickets, mainly whenever I see certain habits happening that I want to avoid in the classroom. So some things in my classes I do is weekly journal assignments, both in graphic design and drawing. Usually predictable times in the semester, I end up getting lots of them in late or just not being done in general, and then they bring them in late. So I will, when I'm grading my journal assignment each week, right there, just start writing down tickets for everyone who turned it in on time that week. So usually on a bad month, that can be like just a third of the class, right? And that's when I really start to do it, is when I start noticing that I'm like, this is a big, so I start giving out the tickets probably 2 to 3 weeks in a row. And then sure enough, I start seeing them being turned in on time. So that's, right, perfect. And then, so I don't do it every week. I've heard of some people always, and I've thought about this semester. Maybe I'm gonna start off right away giving them, so I might be giving out lots and lots of tickets. But it makes it worth it in the long run because they start turning them in more on time. So usually I put responsibility for that, or best, and also best effort, because you're turning your work in on time. And I like to be really authentic with some of my praises too. I like them to understand why I'm giving it, not just because they're like, okay, I did something I'm supposed to do. You're also making my job more efficient too. I usually will accept late work within an appropriate amount of time. So if you turn in your work on time, you are saving me time later by going back in. So I really do appreciate you doing this. Not only are you being responsible and you're learning good habits, but you're making my job easier. And so that, I think they understand that too. They're like, oh, okay, all right, I can help you with that. The other thing that I do, giving tickets out, because again, I like my praise to be authentic. It feels weird if I'm like, you know, if it's, if I don't really appreciate what they're doing, right? If I'm trying, so manners and being polite is something that I give tickets out for, being respectful and also giving best effort. When they thank me or just greet me every day, when they say thank you, just having manners, being polite, and especially, again, there's certain times in the semester, like December was a really big one. I just started noticing a lot of attitudes. You know, and so started giving those. I'm thanked, and I've heard this from a lot of staff members, that like they've had more thank yous at the end of classes than they've ever seen. I know that's true for me. I have more kids thank me at the end of class as they're leaving. And then just being polite, having manners, using, you know, a tone that's, you know, usually nice to be used throughout the classroom, not demanding and things like that. So that's one thing that I've been, you know, and I can go and I'm like, that really meant a lot that you were just thoughtful and kind to me. I needed that today. And so and then again, I start to notice more thoughtfulness, more politeness in the classroom, not just to me, but to one another. So those are my two, I would say, successes within giving out Ci3T tickets that I plan on continuing doing, and that are easy ways of just incorporating it every day. Others, yeah, so just mainly noticing whenever I notice certain behaviors or habits that are starting to happen that I want to avoid, I make a mental note, like I am going to start giving tickets specifically for this. And within a week, I start to see a curve. So that's what works for me. It's just ingrained in me. When I see behaviors I want to have repeated, I comment, I bring that out. Thank you for doing that. That's exactly right. That's exactly what we should be doing, right? And so I communicate that is an expectation we want to continue meeting. So anything, if it's like, it's the beginning of the semester, so we haven't gotten much, but we played like a name game last week, and some kids really didn't want to do it, right? And so I gave those were some of my first tickets last week, were the kids who really didn't want to do it, but they did it anyway. And I was like, that added effort really makes a difference, and that's going to make our class successful this semester, is you know, doing something that you really don't want to do, but you know it's going to make the class run more efficiently, so you help out. Plus you see other people doing it, so you're joining in, right? You're being a part of the team. So yeah, usually I never give out the tickets without saying something exactly like what it is that I'm giving them the ticket for. As we start to add more, I'm just trying to start to, right now this semester, kind of start taking notes on what is it that they want to do that I don't let them do. And then I can start using the tickets. I always remind them of the raffle items, the parking spots, because again, that's a big one. The things they can get on Fridays for them. So at the beginning of the year, we go over those expectations, which is nice because those were like very similar to expectations I had before. So they're not really far off. We had a discussion. What does that look like, feel like, sound like within our classroom? So, and that's where we stuck it there because again, not always, I didn't go into like the bathroom or the commons or anything like that we did in the beginning of the year. I mainly just stuck it in just our classroom. And so I had them think, pair, share, right? Share out something that they said or another comment said. And just again, what does that look? What does it look? What would it look like to be respectful? And they're like, not talk when you're talking. Yeah, absolutely. And so we just had that basic discussion of what that would be. Spent probably a little over 5 minutes talking about it. So again, they kind of know it. And so I bring it, but I found myself bringing it up just every single day. So each day, you know, I do demonstrations on the talk. And I'll say, oh man, I just noticed so-and-so turn off their screen so they can really make sure they're paying attention. That shows me that they are going to be responsible, right? Or whenever I tell them, like, this is what I expect, why I'm expecting it. And I'll point back to the matrix and review over that. So, and all the kids seem to like, we know what you're talking about. And I personally made the video, so I kind of hype up the video too. They're like, that was really cheesy. I was like, it was kind of supposed to be, right? I'm sorry you didn't get it. Like, I kind of want it, you know, like there was drama. So I always tell them, I'm like, we can watch that video if we need to review. So we haven't watched it. I probably shouldn't make them watch it, mainly because we do graphics. And so sometimes with my beginning class, we don't do animation, but with advanced, we can start talking about doing animation. So we can use that as an example, maybe. And now I have minimum 3 kids per class say thank you, or at least like say something when they leave the classroom. I mean, and that's more than 3. At least when they're leaving, you can hear at least a third of them, you know, like, you know, have a good day, thank you, like whatnot. So that's one thing I've noticed within. Beyond that, I need to go to more sporting events, things like that. In the hallways, I have, and maybe, I don't know, maybe this is me looking for things, but I do see like kids throwing away trash a little bit more often. I don't see, since I'm right outside the commons, I don't see nearly as much trash being left out at the end. So again, I've given a few tickets, so when I actually notice like someone, especially if I notice someone throws something away that's not theirs, I've given some tickets away for that because again, I just stand outside my room. I always have people outside.